The Chicago Bulls start the season 2-0 with a win down in Orlando against the Magic. We'll talk about it right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome back to Whole Lotta Bull. I'm Troy. Follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Troy. But you can follow the show at Whole Lotta Bull. So Chicago, undefeated. Bulls go down to Orlando and beat the Magic 110-98. What can we say? Like the Bulls are starting to find an identity. And it is being based on very much team oriented defense, physicality, and team oriented offense. I'll get my words out eventually. Now, very balanced scoring throughout the Bulls offensively. You see Josh Giddey leading the way with 21 points. Jalen Smith off the bench, 16 points after an absolute stinker against the Detroit Pistons, where he looked like he wasn't even an NBA level player. Comes in and has an impact. So that's great to see. Nikola Vucevic, you know, 15 points, 8 rebounds, doesn't get his usual double-double, but does have a positive impact on his game. Tre Jones, 13 points, 8 assists, career high 5 steals and 5 rebounds. What more can you say about Tre Jones? This guy has been an excellent pickup in that Zach LaVine trade, along with Zach Collins and Kevin Huerter. And man, I'm so glad that they re-signed him. Like, doing the Lonzo Ball trade for Isaac Okoro, if anything, just to keep Tre Jones on the Bulls roster was damn well worth it, in my opinion. Kevin Huerter, while struggling from beyond the arc still, he has a really, really solid game. 11 points, 7 boards, 6 assists. I mean, he was quietly balling out there. Patrick Williams. Now, someone please tell me, and I know I put this on Twitter throughout the course of the game, but who was at number 44 out there, and where's Patrick Williams? Because that what? I've been begging to see that this guy even has a pulse. And if what preseason and these first 2 games of the regular season is to go by, Patrick Williams not just has a pulse, he's alive. He is alive. Man, and when considering that my expectations of Patrick Williams have been almost next to 0, to see him put up and it's not even about the numbers. Now, looking at the numbers, 12 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, 5 and 7 from the field. But it's not even about the numbers with Patrick Williams. The guy's active. The guy's making himself known. He's a presence out there. That is just something that us Bulls fans have been begging to see from Patrick Williams for years. And hopefully this is a sign of maybe Patrick Williams has has finally woken up. He's finally probably got a role that actually suits his skill set, suits his mentality. And I love it. I love what Patrick Williams is bringing to the table. If this is what we're going to get from Patrick Williams on a consistent basis, and again, I'm not talking about the numbers. I'm talking about the effort. What he is just doing on the court, rather than just getting in cardio, he's making his presence known out there on the court. Now, we're not always going to get the 12 points. We're not always going to get 4 assists and 5 boards. He's not always going to shoot 5 or 7 from the field. That's fine in my opinion. But the activity that he's putting on the court, that's what we need to see from Patrick Williams going forward every single game. And just looking at some of these other guys as well, like Idasumu, 6 to 10 from the field, 3 or 4 beyond that. Hit some massive shots in that fourth quarter. to help seal the victory for the Bulls. Now, everyone knows I'm a being an Aussie, I'm a Josh Giddey guy, but I will be the first to say Billy Donovan made the right decision in keeping Josh Giddey on the bench to end this game. Now, at one point, it did look like he was about to well, Josh Giddey was at the scorer's table, ready to check in. Then I'd assume he hits another big three, and Billy's like, you know what, Josh, come sit back down. These guys have got this, and that was the right decision. It was totally the correct decision from Billy Donovan. I got to give Billy Donovan props. He is coaching really well so far to start. Very very early to start the season. So this was a great game all around from the Bulls. Now, obviously, they got off to a bit of a slow start, somewhat to this game. I mean, the largest deficit at any point in the first quarter for the Bulls was 7. That was the Orlando's largest lead at all. 8 lead changes in this game. Uh, the score was tied 6 times, but ultimately, come after the first quarter, the Bulls were essentially in control of this game throughout the course of their largest lead being 13. Obviously, they walk away with a 12-point victory. And just looking at some of these things for the Chicago Bulls now, they did get out rebounded 53 to 46. So you like to see them tidy that up and either make that a bit more 50-50 or win the rebound count. Now the Bulls in this game made where is it? 39 shots. So 39 of 83 from the field, 47%. Go 10 of 27 from beyond the arc for 37%, and 22 or 29 for 76% from the free throw line. But for 39 made field goals, the part I do like to see is that the Bulls had 26 assists on those 39 made shots. Orlando just the 12 assists. 13 steals for the Bulls. The Orlando Magic just the 8. Now, Tre Jones being a massive disruptor out there on that court gets 5 steals by himself. Now, 2 blocks to 5 in advantage of Orlando. Bulls not a big shot blocking team. We all know that. Bulls win the turnovers, 20 to 18. So that's something that we do love to see. Like the Bulls obviously have been were very turnover prone in the preseason. But it's good to see that now. Obviously, 18 turnovers is still too high for my liking. Probably for any fans, like you want to see that down around. I'm guessing around the 12 mark. And looking at some of these other numbers for the Chicago Bulls, win the fast breaks points 22 to 10. So Bulls getting out and transition and scoring quite well from that. Second chance opportunities, well, that's where Orlando did beat the Bulls, getting on the offensive rebounds, outscoring the Bulls on second chance points 29 to 13. Do need to tighten it up and get those defense rebounds, stop allowing second chance opportunities. And the points in the battle in the paint for scoring was pretty even, 58-54 advantage of Orlando there. But ultimately, like, this was a game where, Orlando coming on the second night of a back-to-back and coming off what they would consider a very disappointing loss to the Atlanta Hawks. See, they were gonna come out angry in a way, wanting to get things back on even playing terms in terms getting their game back in order, especially at home after losing at home the night before. But the one thing that was key for me in this game was the Chicago Bulls needed to get out and run. And like I posted on Twitter, like the Coach Carter gif, where Coach Carter, says these guys are tired. So what does he say? I want you to run, and that's what the Bulls did. They got out and run, pushed the transition. I mean, Orlando tried to mash that early in the game, but ultimately on the second one of a back to back, where the Bulls had 2 days off, much fresher legs. Orlando just wasn't able to keep up with the pace that the Bulls wanted to play it. But great. I really want to talk about Tre Jones. I'm so damn glad that the I know I mentioned this just before, but I'm so damn happy that the Bulls kept this guy. Now, I'm not one of those fans who's gonna shit talk another player to pump up my guy. I wanna pay love to all the players, especially when they damn well deserve it. And I'm gonna criticize, and I'll be the first to criticize my own players that, I like Josh Giddey. And, like I mentioned before, Billy Donovan made the absolute right decision in sitting Josh Giddey to finish to finish the game out. Correct call. But Tre Jones, he's brought something to this team that I love this dude. He's a defensive menace. I mean, being in the starting lineup while Kobe White is out, while he brings while very limited offensively, what some of the things he can bring to fill in for Kobe, like he doesn't have the outside shot that Kobe White has, but he can penetrate and get to the basket and draw fouls. He can create shots for other teammates. And obviously he's a better defender than Kobe White. So that's where Kobe has the advantage there, and that's where it balances out the current starting backcourt with him and Josh Giddey. Whereas Josh isn't as strong defensively. Josh is a decent team defender, but he's not a great one-on-one defender. Whereas Tre Jones will cause havoc defensively. And I'm just really loving what Tre Jones has brought to this team. Like, I'm anyone who says that 3-year, $24 million deal was an overpay doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Let's be frank. But yeah, when Kobe White comes back from that calf strain, when Zach Collins comes back from that wrist fracture, and as long as the Bulls can stay relatively healthy throughout the course of the season, this is a deep, deep team. Again, now we all know we don't have that superstar player. You know, Marcus Buzelis is a guy that right now we're hoping becomes that guy. Now he had an absolute stinker today, and that's gonna happen for him, and that is totally fine. I've got no dramas whatsoever with Marcus Buzelis having a shit game. It's gonna happen. He's gonna have his growing pains. The biggest thing for me with Martis is how does he respond from this? How does he come out the next game against Atlanta? Because for me personally, in this game against Orlando, it did look like this was the first time where foul calls gone against him actually rattled his confidence. Like he was dribbling the ball off his foot, off his knee, couldn't really control the ball properly. Like he did seem rattled for the first time. Like it's the first time I've seen his confidence take a bit of a hit. So it's going to be very important for Marcus Buzelis on how he bounces back next game against the Atlanta Hawks. And we all know that's gonna be a game where he's gonna gear himself up for because he's going up against Zachary Reese-Shea, who was a number one pick, and Marcus Buzelis feels that he should have been the number one pick. Obviously, like even though he's extremely happy he fell to 11 to the Chicago Bulls, but how Marcus bounces back from this is going to be very important. We'll show you into the character of the kid, which I have no doubts whatsoever. Martis is going to come back. He's going to come back strong. He's going to be on the attack, and he'll probably drop 20 plus points. And probably try and put Zachary Reese on a poster. So you know, Martis is allowed to have a shit game once in a while, especially in his sophomore season. It's going to happen. Now, one thing I do want to shout out is the Bulls bench overall. Now, shout out to Luke Kurtzwill on Twitter. He's in the Bulls HQ Discord as well. Now, he put up the numbers on Twitter of the Bulls bench today. And the new bench mob 2.0, maybe, especially once Tre Jones and once Kobe's back and Tre goes back to the second unit. Zach Collins is back. But here's the numbers that the Bulls bench put up today against the Orlando Magic. 58 points, 18 rebounds, 13 assists, 23 of 40 from the field for 57.5%, 6 of 14 from beyond the arc for just under 43%, 6 steals and a block, and it had an average of 9.8 plus minus. Again, I'm not one who's big on the plus minus. I think it's a bit of a neither here nor there stat. I mean, like Tre Jones in this game was a game a team was a, yeah, it was a game high plus 17. Josh Giddey was a team worst minus 10. So I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who will try and create a narrative behind the plus minus. Oh, see, Tre Jones was a plus 17 while Josh Giddey was a minus 10. Tre Jones should be the starting point guard going forward when Kobe White comes back. Josh Giddey doesn't deserve that contract. Well, ultimately, that's just plain stupid. Tre Jones is a damn good player. He's a damn good player, and I fucking love that we've got this guy. But he's not on Josh Giddey's level. Now, does Josh Giddey have his flaws? Absolutely, he does. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you. His shooting is still going to be questionable. I mean, he's shooting at okay in a very, very small sample size so far this season. I think he's shooting about 42% from beyond the arc. And he was 2 or 5 today at 40%. Josh can be a bit turnover prone. He can be a bit loose with his handles at time as well. But ultimately, Tre Jones is a far superior defender than Josh Giddey. I'm not gonna lie. But the overall package of what Josh excuse me. The overall package of what Josh Giddey brings to the Bulls is more than a Tre Jones. And that's not to knock Tre Jones whatsoever. That I love having this guy on this team. And again, that's gonna look like a very extremely valued contract. Now we look at Josh Giddey's numbers overall. The 21 points, 7 of 18 from the field. There was a number of times where he tried to put up those floaters, trying to look for fouls. Giddey needs to cut that out of his game where, and I know Hayes said this on one of his shows a couple of days ago. It may have even been after the win against the Pistons. Excuse me. That Josh Giddey either needs to take the floater or he needs to attack the basket harder and try and draw the foul, not try and combine the both. Take the floater and take it from one step further out, or go harder to the basket and draw the contact, get to the free throw line. Now, Josh Giddey's doing a really good job so far of getting to the free throw line. So since the second half of last season, he's done a great job. Today, he gets to the free throw line 6 times, makes 5. Great stuff. Now, can we see that six free throw attempts minimum from Josh Giddey? I would love to see that. Tre Jones, amazing job getting to the free throw line especially for a guy who's 6', 6'1". I mean, he's mile high. Gets to the free throw line 8 times, 6 of 8. Great stuff. Love to see. I love to see the guards, regardless of whether you're 6'1" or 6'8" like Josh Giddey. Love to see the guards attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line. But yeah, there's definitely some things in Josh Giddey's game that he does need to clean up, and one of those being those one-legged runners trying to draw contact. One thing that now, one thing I taught a kid a few years ago was when he was very hard at attacking the basket. And I did want to encourage him to try and draw fouls. But being a very young kid, and I'm talking 10, 11 years old, he took that as, "Oh, I've got to feel the contact and play for the foul." And when I noticed what he was doing, he's basically trying to kind of flop a bit for the foul. I'm like, "No, no, no. Look, here's what you need to do. You go to the basket hard trying to score. Score first, draw foul second. And once and then he did it once, and I'm like, "That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what you need to do. You went up to score, you went up you didn't go up trying to draw a foul, you went up to score, you went up hard and drew the foul. That's exactly what you need to do." And then it clicked in his head. He goes, "Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense." And it worked. And what did that kid become great at doing? Going to the basket, drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line, and a whole bunch of and ones. That's something Josh Giddey needs to start doing as well. Drive to the basket to score. And one thing I need Josh Giddey to do as well, and we saw in this game, there was a drive to the basket he had where had he did have a if he had a bit more explosiveness to his game, he should have gone up and dunked the ball. Instead, he tried to lay it up a little bit softer, and he did get to me. He did look like he did get fouled on that play, but they didn't call it. But ultimately, he was a block shot. Orlando's running the other way. Josh needs to go up and it's at least attempt to dunk it, because more often than not, if he does that, he's probably going to draw the foul, get to the free throw line. Now, Martis Buzelis, 1 of 5 from the field. He only plays 12 and a half minutes in this game. And since Martis has been in his much more expanded, more a major part of this team role, this is probably the worst game he's played. And like I said before, that's okay. He's gonna have he's gonna have these speed bumps in his development. He's gonna have games like this where he just gets destroyed. And when he's trying to go up against Paolo Banchero at times, see the one matchup where he, got his fifth foul when he got tangled up with forget the big name, Big Goga Batiza, I think it is his name, for the Orlando Magic. Yeah, Goga Batiza. I mean, he's going up against bigger bodies. He will learn how to deal with that as well as he gets bigger and stronger. Ultimately, this was a game where the Bulls won as a team, offensively and defensively. And this is going to have to be the identity of the Chicago Bulls throughout the course of the season and going forward until they get that superstar player. Now, whether that turns into Martis Buzelis, whether the Bulls get some lottery luck and they, for example, even if we finish just outside the play in, well, we finish in the play in, get knocked out, and we're back in the lottery, and the Bulls get lucky this time and draw a top 3 pick, where you got, the Cam Boozer or the Darren Peterson and AJ. I'm not even going to attempt his last name because I know I'm going to butcher it. But the Bulls get some lottery luck and are able to draft one of those guys. I know a lot of Bulls fans would love to probably see Cam Boozer, primarily like not just because he's a great young prospect, a great young prospect, but because he's the son of former Chicago Bull Carlos Boozer. And there's even like some other gems out there, like Caleb Wilson from North Carolina. Shout out to my Carolina people out there. But ultimately, the Bulls, they've got their identity going for for the remainder of the season. It's going to be a very team based offense and defense. It's going to be both ends. Everyone needs to play their roles. And who knows, we still could see, Martis Buzelis break out to be that superstar player that we've been waiting for. But that's the leap I probably expect him to take next year, as I've said before. But who knows? It could come this year. But ultimately, a great team win from the Chicago Bulls. We're 2-0. We undefeated. And next up, we got the Atlanta Hawks. Just trying to find when that game is out. I believe it is on Tuesday my time. I think it's a Monday night game. I'm in Chicago. Yeah, where where is it? So we'll be so I'd assume it will be reunited with his son Trey Young. And yes, it is a Monday night game for the Chicago Bulls against the Atlanta Hawks in Chicago. So looking forward to that one. Uh, Battle of the Australians, Josh Giddey versus Dyson Daniels. Last year's runner-up in Defensive Player of the Year, so that's going to be a great battle. No doubt that Dyson Daniels will be the primary matchup on Josh Giddey, and this is actually another part where having Tre Jones on this team is a big help for Josh Giddey because Josh Giddey is more often than not, especially while Kobe's out, is going to draw the opposing team's best perimeter defender. I mean, we saw it against the Detroit Pistons where Stuart Thompson was guarding him. Saw it today where forget players' names, but he was drawing some of their better perimeter defenders. At one point he had Desmond Bain on him. Anthony Black off the bench was taking him. So he was getting matched up against some of Orlando's better perimeter defenders as well. So Tre Jones comes along and is a great second person to be able to relieve Josh Giddey of some of the ball handling duties, and probably and takes the best of perimeter defender away as well. Saw a number of times where Josh Giddey would go stand in the corner, and that drags the best perimeter defender away from the play. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Whole Lot of Bull. Apologies for my voice. I'm battling a little bit. Looks like a bit of a cold rather than hay fever. So looking forward to the next game. That is a Tuesday morning, Tuesday game, my time here down in Adelaide. So there we go again. Looking forward to that one. All right, guys, that's it. I'm out of here. Don't forget, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Troy. You can follow the show at Whole Lot of Bull. Don't forget to hit the like button on the video. Hit subscribe button if you haven't already. If for those who don't know, do have my own Discord at a Whole Lot of Bull, so I will drop an invite link uh, in the description and the comments below. Don't forget to leave your comments below as well. Until next time, Bulls fans, see red, go Bulls. We undefeated.